All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. It is episode 213, man. I am the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there is Anthony, the Dev. He thinks globally. He believes that every voice matters, and we're recording a fucking day early because we were pissed off about Blizzard and Hong Kong and blitzchung and all this stuff. Yeah. But before we get there, some happy news. You just launched a game into early access.
Yep. In Search of a Home is on Steam right now, and people have bought it.
I bought it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I played one round and got destroyed. I got, what was it? I got taken over or
exiled.
Exiled, yep. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, not the mechanics, of course, but the, what's the card game on the phone? Reigns, where like you're trying to keep people happy, and then if you don't, then you just deposed.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the ways that definitely keeping people happy. So for people who haven't seen it, it's a game that is, say, heavily inspired by Battlestar Galactica in some ways. But you're an admiral, basically, of a fleet who's fleeing a home planet for whatever reason, war, climate change, general other disasters that could happen. You have a small fleet of ships that you're leading on a journey to a prophetic new home. And it's a harsh galaxy, and so you're trying to manage this fleet, the people on your fleet, the resources, and trying to just make each jump to get closer and closer to your new home. And yeah, if morale gets too low, they kick you out of being the admiral because they're like, well, screw you, you suck.
I just kept watching the morale get lower and lower and lower, and I was like, I need to build. I figured out I needed to build a long range scanner, and I was like, I don't have the resources to do that.
Because you used them on other things, I bet.
Yeah, I did. I was just like playing around, like, okay, I'm gonna make this or do this.
Yep.
And
at least you figured that part out.
Yeah,
so,
no,
because there is no tutorial right now. That's the one thing in early access that, and someone's asked for it, but the main reasons you don't have a tutorial yet is you don't want to tutorialize things until your systems are set.
Yeah, of course,
because it's gonna, right? Yeah, basically, it's just tutorials I love them, but they are some of the hardest things to program into a game.
And I imagine, aside from the programming, you don't know what you're teaching toward until you've got the finished product. So.
Exactly. We know what we're teaching towards, but there's still some pretty significant systems to go in. Probably our next big update in about a month, although we'll be doing bi-weekly releases. So there'll be a small one in a couple weeks. But in a month out is a big faction overhaul. So you'll start having a lot more visibility into the different factions inside your fleet where the populations align to and kind of what they want, and you got to try to manage that a lot better. Mm-hmm. Try to bring a bit more personality to whatever fleet you start with. So
yeah, that would be nice. It was,
yeah.
Obviously it's early access.
Yeah.
And the idea of not having a tutorial was me floundering around figuring out, okay, what button does what? What's my goal? Where am I going? How do I do this? But despite that kind of confusion, I was interested in, like, the goal of, like, jumping, right? Like, I had that immediate goal, and obviously the goal at the end is, like, to get to your home. Like, I was compelled to figure out how to fucking do it. And when I couldn't do it, I was like, okay, I want to try again. And then I had to do a podcast, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So yeah,
usually from a new player, I would expect it will take. Honestly, now you know what to build that skin, what you were missing.
Yeah.
We expect on this part of early access, it'll probably take you a player 3 or 4 times to kind of figure out the swing of things completely.
Yeah.
Like to have a real chance at winning the game.
And
not to say that you're always going to win. Most likely you're going to fail at some point. You're going to run out of fuel or starve or, all sorts of bad things.
Well, that's what I put all my stuff into, was hydroponics.
It's a good choice.
I kept building lots of food, and then I had no scanning. Is there a certain amount of jumps until you get to your quote unquote home, or
currently yes. Currently, yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's not set. It's a random between a range.
Oh, okay, cool.
I won't spoil that.
Yeah.
Because there's another system. We're going to be, and you don't have like a big map you're choosing between. What I ideally will be putting in. We have concepts for it. We just how to cut it right now, is there would be an actual like, hey, I want to jump. It'll bring up a galaxy map, and you'll have nodes, connected nodes, and you can kind of plot your way through the galaxy.
That would be pretty cool.
And you don't know exactly where that new home is or habitable planet is, but you know it's forward somewhere. So
right.
Work towards it.
Yeah. So it's In Search of a Home. It's early access on Steam. It's $15. It's so far so good, which is nice.
Yeah.
Man, this I finally first time get to go to BlizzCon. I'm going to BlizzCon. So excited to go to BlizzCon, and now I'm trying to figure out how to protest at BlizzCon, and just feeling like I can't fully enjoy it because they're being fucking assholes.
I think the easiest way is to. I thought I saw stuff on protests, but even if you don't want to take part in that specific thing, just wear a Liberate Hong Kong shirt.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I've settled on.
That's probably a good one.
I was like, fuck Blizzard. Like, no, that's not good.
Nah.
What would it be? So probably one of the May meme shirts or something.
Yep.
God. So this story, what was it? It was a couple days ago. Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, sometime around that.
So just gonna read this from the Blizzard website. During the Asia Pacific Grandmasters broadcast over the weekend, there was a competition rule violation during a post-match interview involving blitzchung and two casters, which basically blitzchung said a short statement of support for the liberation of Hong Kong.
Yeah. This is the specific quoted translation, because it was in Taiwanese, I believe. But he basically, he was speaking in Chinese. But it was in Taiwan where the turn. But quote in English is, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." That's all he said.
Right. And after that, they gave him a 12-month ban, took away all of his winnings. I thought they took away all of his cards too, because it's a Hearthstone tournament. And then the casters were just completely gone. They got rid of them. Like severed with that. Where's the language here? Oh, here it is. We will immediately cease working with both casters. And I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Anthony's thinking globally and every voice matters, because those are two of the Blizzard's key values. Think globally, which I guess they are, but every voice matters. And as soon as this guy, except if this
those
voice,
things are coming into conflict, it seems.
Well, and the internet has been a buzz about them wanting to, or they are expanding into China, and you don't want to piss off China. If you do, there goes your money. So they're basically, their value is, let's earn money for ourselves, and maybe Activision is part of that as well. I'm not sure, but does that accurately sum up what happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened then, and then Blizzard was pretty radio silent for a number of days.
Yep.
And then, was it J. Allen Brack?
Yes, it was.
Posted like a pretty long, I won't read the entire thing, but it was a pretty long statement on Blizzard's website, basically rehashing what's going on, and then, got to a point where Blitzchung said he used a segment to make a statement about the situation of Hong Kong in violation of the rules he acknowledged and understood, and that is why they took action. They go on to say, every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. So every voice matters, but it doesn't.
Your voice matters as long as you stay in the pin. Like at the fucking Trump rallies, we're like, the press is in this fucking box, and that's the only place they can stay, even though the freedom of the press and whatever can be anywhere they want. Nope, you're only here. And if you're outside of there, then you're in trouble. And it's just not freedom.
Yeah,
it's not freedom. It's
basically, and they're like, thinking globally is reading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in the areas of commonality, like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. It's basically, the unfortunate thing here is your thinking globally and your every voice matters are completely coming into conflict now.
Yeah.
Your two values are coming into conflict, and the every voice matter does not win out on this part.
Well, and it's also odd. I mean, it's not odd, but as values are sort of broad, so think globally can mean a lot of things, right? That can be positive or negative. Think globally about profits. Think globally about, Chinese protocol around freedom of speech or about whatever is different, so we need to honor that. But the values that Blizzard espouses were built in this country, and they are, the foundation of those are some of the freedoms we have in our country. So obviously they're going to come into conflict when you are expanding in a country that doesn't share those same values. Although who knows if we do at this point anyways.
Yeah. Although he goes on to say the specific views expressed by blitzchung are not a factor in the decision we made.
The fuck they weren't.
I want to be clear, our relationship in China had no influence on our decision. Bullshit.
If Blitzchung said...
Press X for doubt.
If he had said, fuck Hong Kong, go China, you think that same thing would have happened?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I'm sure there have been some maybe
honestly, even whenever this all comes down to it, to me, and the whole thing is... Okay, they have rules. They don't want their streamers on the main streams and casting to get into politics or stuff outside the game. Okay. Right. Wouldn't the easiest thing and probably the best way to handle this PR-wise would have just been like, hey, behind the scenes, call up Blitzchung, go ahead. Hey, please don't do that again. We have a rule against this. And just basically... give them a warning on this or something, but not bring it up to the press or anything. Like, just be like, hey, we need to make sure we're all on the same page, that we all understand what needs to be done here for going forward.
But then you couldn't demonstrate to China that you were going to, clamp down on this shit. Like, it seemed very theatric in that they were playing it for a certain audience, which was not us. Yeah, and I wonder if it was specifically. We want China to see that we're cracking down on this, so that they will leave us alone.
I know. It's just, to me, I'm like, this is the worst way to handle any of this.
Yeah.
Like, if they had said nothing and let this just go on, I doubt you would ever hear about this ever again.
I wouldn't have if they didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Because from the broadcast, he says this, and then they quickly cut to break, basically. And if it had just come back from break and there was just everyone talking again and he wasn't there anymore, and then they never did any bans or anything, there would have been no PR flare-up.
Right.
And again, I'm like, how many people watching that would this get back to the Chinese government? Really? One person in a tournament saying this?
Right, when there's a chorus of voices saying a lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where I'm just like, this is just... I do probably agree with your point that they're trying... Whoever's orchestrating the PR work on this, which right. I don't know who that is, or if it's Blizzard Activision Blizzard, Blizzard Internal, is it Blizzard China? Whatever they're doing, they chose that they wanted this to be made very clear what they were doing.
Right.
And we should say they put out another statement, I think, yesterday.
After the jail and Breck one?
Yeah, they've halved... Is this where they talk about... The jail and Breck one doesn't talk about... Maybe it does in here. It is at the end here where they set his suspension to 6 months, but give him back all his money.
Right. And then there's an article on PC Gamer from just 4 hours ago.
From Blitzchung?
Yeah.
I read that, yeah.
Okay. So he's saying, just for the audience, he's grateful for Blizzard reconsidering their position. He understands the penalty because of what he said, and he knew that he would have some sort of penalty. He just thought it was a lot, and that 6 months is better than a year. He still thinks that's a lot, but he's appreciative of the change, at least.
Yeah. I mean, it's his livelihood. I don't think he's going to completely bite the hand that feeds him. Because it was a very conciliatory quotes and post.
Yeah.
But yeah, his livelihood is making money off of Hearthstone. So
right. That's his job. So of course he wants to be like, well, I didn't mean to fuck you guys over.
So, yeah.
Please be nice.
But fuck, man. I can't believe that they handled it this way. Just constantly. And I'm angry, and I should bring it up. A friend kind of calmed me down today. In some ways, just being like, okay, Activision Blizzard and Blizzard themselves have actual Chinese employees in China. They have a studio there who handles things. This came up after Riot also said, basically just put out a statement saying like, yep, we follow similar rules. We don't want our official streams of League and League tournaments to really get political at all. But he brought up, and I was like, that's dumb. And he agreed that that's dumb. He doesn't think there should be such a hard line of like, games shouldn't be political.
Right.
But he's like, you have to understand that these companies have employees in China. If they don't play ball correctly, they're endangering those employees' lives and families' lives. And the fact that the Chinese government is not a nice government to its people. And he used the exact word of, they might just be disappeared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. Which is terrifying, because we live in a country where that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, in that same way, yeah, for sure.
And not the same way, as in citizens and the whole thing. Like, yes, we are doing crap things to non-citizens pretty constantly, but you rarely see it to natural-born citizens.
Well, you see a lot of rhetoric, but you don't see people being disappeared.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yet, but hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But
if we don't come back next week, you'll know we got disappeared.
Which it did temper me a bit, and just mostly I'm just now like, fuck, this is such a horrible situation. And at some point it goes back to where my mind was, is like, I can't, if this is the cost of doing business in China in a, what is it, totalitarian government, is it worth it?
Right, and it seems to be, for me, coming down to the idea of like the stock market, where if you're doing 10 billion a year but you're not seeing any growth, then that's an issue. So China is a place where there's just that quick growth potential, so it is worth it in that way, in the stock price way. But long term, is it worth it in terms of like damage to your values, your PR, your employees' mental health or whatever? Maybe not. But...
And I have a hard time seeing any big company saying no to that. It's different whenever you have things like the companies saying, okay, we're not going to do business in the Middle East and different countries over there but that's such a small market. They're not. It's much harder for these companies to say, okay, we're just not going to do business with a third of the global population.
Right.
Which I wish it was an easy decision there. But really, it's just one of those things that a lot of these companies have gone there so long ago. I mean, Blizzard went to China, quite a while. I mean, StarCraft back 20 years at this point. Right.
It feels like StarCraft feels like an Asian game to me more than anything.
And I mean, they've been through this, and it's just, I kind of feel like a lot of those decisions back then that were made of like, oh, we can get some more population, are starting to be like, oh, this is really a much different culture and values, and this changes things.
Well, it kind of calls into question the idea of, I think the right idea of, we're in the Middle East, we're in China, we're in Russia, we're wherever we are. If we just stick to the game, everything will be fine, because it's a digital card game, or it's StarCraft or whatever. Like, it's not controversial, but it's not realistic, because when you are bringing people together around a game, you don't just talk about the game.
Yeah.
You talk about lots of other things, and there's no way to contain things so that it's, clean for your parent company.
Yeah.
So I would have hoped that they had some sort of plan in place for this eventuality, but it seemed like it was just so snap and dumb that I can't imagine that was their initial plan. They just like panicked. It seemed like panic.
Yeah, it totally does. It seems like completely unprepared to handle this situation.
Yeah.
And especially the backlash of that you see a lot coming out of the West now against it.
Right.
And I mean, go to Reddit. Reddit's just full.
Oh my god!
Crap! Like holy shit.
I haven't seen our games like that many mega threads and that much shit like just in a long time. This really freaking hit a chord, you know?
Yeah. Well, I guess it shows that there's at least some lip service in the West for wanting freedom and supporting people trying to get freedom.
Right.
So
lip service for sure.
It is.
I don't know.
Which is
at the
needed
lower
at this point. Yeah.
At our level, we believe it's not lip service. Like we want that, you know. But it's hard not to be cynical about government right now. So.
Yes. But it's been insane watching all of this that play out through Blizzard, then the riot statement, which was like, okay, I guess you're getting out ahead of this just so people aren't going to get angry at you, but it's kind of making people angry at you because you're just saying the same kind of like, games are just apolitical, it's fine, right? Which is such a dumb thing to say anyway.
I mean, that's dumb, and then I just feel like the extension of that is the people who are playing our games are apolitical or have to be apolitical, and that's no one's fucking political. Even people who are saying that they don't care about politics or pay attention to politics, that's a fucking political statement, man. So
yeah,
like if he came out and was like, "Oh, China, Hong Kong, whatever," like that's also a statement.
Yeah.
So
so you can probably educate me on what was going on with the NBA as well in this, because I don't follow that at all. I just saw a brief thing about like people in support of Hong Kong at an NBA game.
Yeah. So what happened was I think it's the owner of the Houston Rockets tweeted out support for Hong Kong protesters, and immediately China was like, okay, well we're not going to show preseason games now. We're not ever going to show Rockets games now, like immediately, because the NBA, it's the same fucking thing. The NBA has a foothold ever since like Yao Ming basically, or even before that, has a foothold in China, and it's growing and growing. Like it's a booming, expanding business there. The NBA.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So because of that one tweet from the Houston Rockets owner, China reacted that way, and I think Blizzard, I mean, it was everywhere. Like people saw that, and if anyone's paid attention to like business in China, that was like on their fucking radar in the middle of it, the red like beacon. So when this happened, I thought that Blizzard reacted so quickly and so fucking harshly, and in a panicked fashion because they did not want to become the NBA 2.0 in China's eyes. So when you say like, would they even notice? Like fucking, they noticed a tweet from the fucking Houston Rockets owner. So yeah.
Okay.
And so the NBA is like trying to fucking like smooth this out or settle this out or whatever. But yeah, China was like, we're not going to fucking show preseason. We're not going to show Rockets games ever. And I don't know if they've changed their mind since then, but I doubt it. Yeah. So, you know, it just makes sense if you are entering into any sort of relationship with someone who doesn't, I don't want to say share your values completely, but like, comes from a different place, has a different perspective, you're going to have fucking friction, and sometimes that friction is, if it's this public, is very, very it reverberates. So yeah, I don't know, and it's just the fucking, honestly, so much stuff, seen so much stuff, read so much stuff. The thing that like really got me the most for some dumb reason, I don't know why. Game Over Greggy, Greg Miller, who does a Kind of Funny podcast.
Yep.
Did you see his Instagram?
No,
video?
I don't follow him on Instagram. So
it's he does unboxings there all the time, and whatever, however you feel about unboxings. So there's a 15th anniversary of World of Warcraft, 20th, whatever it is, box, like this really commemorative box for what's coming out now or whatever.
15th.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Really nice box. He's gonna do an unboxing. He has a camera on the front of it, and then he usually like turns the box on all around so you can see all the sides. It's a 5-minute video. For the first 5 seconds, you see the front of it, World of Warcraft 15th anniversary, and you turn to the side, and there's just a printed out paper that says "Liberate Hong Kong," and it has a website, and it's a free cam. He's holding it, or someone's holding it for the other 4 minutes and 55 seconds just on that piece of paper. No commentary, nothing else, just that. And it's so stupid how simple that was, but it felt really powerful. It was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to take a moment to like not like, fanboy out over this huge unboxing of this really rare thing and just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about what really matters right now.
I've seen him on Twitter. He's been pretty active in his dislike of Blizzard's choice of action.
Yeah.
It's been fun watching that a bit.
So I appreciate that. I haven't listened to his podcast. I've been listening to audiobooks like fucking crazy lately, so I haven't listened to hardly any video game podcasts, but I would like to go back and listen to a couple of those to see what they were saying.
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
What a conflagration.
Yeah. I think this is only going to get crazier too. This event will probably subside, but you know that there's just going to be something more in the future. There's going to be something else said. Something else is going to go on, and this isn't the end. Welcome to globalization and the meetings of different cultures and values and companies and governments, and it's going to get very messy.
Right.
I'm surprised it hasn't got messier already, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing about our government, where like I feel like the person in charge of our government is kind of like a loose cannon, and things could have been a lot worse, and I'm not sure exactly why they haven't gotten worse, because on that, at that level, on that stage, one bad fuck up could lead to catastrophe.
I can only assume there are people around him trying to, while not great people, also don't want to see complete and utter catastrophe. So
yeah, I hope that's true. I'd like to believe that for sure. That's a topic.
That is a topic.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Something I didn't mention. I'm just gonna veer onto a new topic just to like bring the mood back up. Motherfuckers, I got my Comic-Con tickets today. Comic-Con San Diego 2020. Brad was on, his wife was on, I had my code, I had my friend Ted's code, and we're just like 4 of us in the queue, and then anyone gets in, they can buy tickets for 3 people. And my friend Ted didn't want to go again, so basically us 3 with 4 chances to get in. And I got in, and they didn't. They never got in. Fucking 5 years in a row trying to get to Comic-Con tickets, couldn't get any. Finally, last year I got in. My friend got them for me, or Brad did, and then I was able to return the favor this year. Felt pretty good.
Awesome.
And now I don't have to worry about it. I've got the tickets locked in for whatever happens for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next year. No preview night because I didn't really get much out of it, and Sunday I don't go to, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited. So what you been playing this week?
Destiny all the time. It's got me.
Man. You are hooked.
It definitely has the just one more thing. There's just one more thing. Usually when you finish an activity, you're close to finishing another activity is the thing, and it constantly just cycles through, and you're like, oh, well, I could just go do this. I need to go turn that in. Oh, there's something here. But I did play through the entire Red War campaign, the base campaign.
Oh, you finished the whole... Okay.
The base Destiny 2 campaign.
Yep.
And I started the Curse of Osiris.
Okay.
Which I'm about done with.
Did you buy that, or did that come with...
Comes with it. The first year is Curse of Osiris, and then one other, whatever came after Curse of Osiris. You get those campaigns as well. But you don't get Forsaken or Shadowkeep, the new one.
Right. I will when I get my Stadia, whenever that comes.
The one thing with playing through the campaign, okay, we've talked about it, Destiny and Destiny 2, great gunplay. Like, the actual gameplay, fantastic.
Yeah.
I've played it on my PC, I've been playing it on PS4. Thank you, cross-save. It's amazing. I will say I actually do like it on PC a bit better.
Because of the keyboard and mouse, or?
Yeah, keyboard and mouse. It's just easier.
Yeah.
I'm much more precise, and it's quicker. And there are times when the auto aim assist on the PS4 really pisses me off, because I'm like, I don't want to shoot at the person that you're making me kind of snap to. I want to shoot at the goddamn barrel next to them and blow. And it's really hard for it to not but on PC it doesn't do any of that.
Right.
So it can be a lot more precise. So, but either way, I played a mix of both there. The story itself is fine. Their storytelling sucks ass.
It's so bad.
They're so bad. And actually, part of me is like, is it like this? Do they actually think that's good? Are they blind to the fact that the way that they tell their stories is terrible, breaks all immersion, breaks all tension?
Yep.
And the dialogue is honestly god awful
a
lot of time. But the core concepts of the story are pretty damn good.
And the lore, the wrapping around it is really fucking good. I was on a fucking Reddit thread. I don't know why it's always coming back to Reddit, but people were asking for. No, it was specifically they had read the Book of Shadows in Destiny, and they were like, "What novels can I read that are like this?" And I recommended the Trader Baru Cormorant because it was written by a guy who wrote Destiny lore, and someone else was like, I don't understand how their lore is so good and every other piece of their writing is fucking garbage. And someone replied and said, "What? That's just a subjective opinion. Their writing on Destiny is so good. The story, the dialogue, all that stuff is really great." And I was just like, dude, what the hell are you fucking... This is the first game you've ever played? Like, have you not read any other books ever? Like, seen movies? Like, it's not good. It is not good. But how is the rest of it so good?
The dialogue is generally written pretty badly. It's delivered badly. Just in a weird... It's very... And it's not the voice actors. It's like the direction on how they want them to do their tone and like say like change it between serious and humor, and it just doesn't work.
It goes back to Dinklebot, man, where... I mean, some of the shit he said was stupid anyways, but like the voice direction for Peter Dinklage was terrible. I thought that Dinklebot was awful.
I honestly don't think the Ghost is that great now either. And it's Nolan North. It's not, and again, it's not because Nolan North. It's just how the goddamn thing is written. Well, it's just like, God, I hate this thing. Just make it shut up, please.
Well, and that's honestly what made me realize, and other people that I've read realize it wasn't Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Because even Nolan North can't do shit with this garbage, you know?
Yeah. And like you said, the lore and the concepts of the story are great. It's just the way they present it to you and tell it is terrible. Which really just blows my mind, because that was the same thing with the first Destiny. Of all this time, it still sucks. And so all I can imagine internally is they think it's great. And I'm like, stop drinking your own Kool-Aid. Do better, please, because you clearly do better on the You do better on the gameplay side, and continue to improve the gameplay.
Well, I think that's true. Like hubris, for example, hubris for sure can lead to that kind of thought process where like this stuff's really good, or just you've been so close to it for so long. Like just for my own writing, like that novel that I wrote back in fucking Peace Corps that I had you read. I was like, this is really good. Now that I read it, it's god awful. It is really bad. And there are things in it that are good, and like the process of like editing it now and like cutting out like 80% of or 70% of it and kind of redoing pieces. I'm like, okay, there were the bones here. There were some things that were good, but geez, a lot of these things that I thought were great were just not.
Yeah.
You just need a little bit of space away, you know, or distance is what they say, and what I'm trying to say. So.
Yeah. So I'm playing Curse of Osiris tonight before we were recording. And I have like the final mission to do, but this is my example of the disjointed and ruining any kind of like build up. Is I do second to the last mission. I beat it. It's pretty long, intense mission. It's great. And they're like, okay, this thing happened. You need to go back to the tower, talk to Akora, then go back to Mercury. Like literally, all I have to do is okay. All right, I guess I launch to Earth and go to the tower, and I talk to Akora. She tells me, I get a little cutscene, and now I go back to Mercury to do another mission. And there's all the loading screens between that. It just basically just ruined it all. I'm like, why the fuck couldn't you just have Akora be right here talking to me after the end of this mission, and then I can just jump into the next mission that I want to go to? Like, without having to do this, like, go back to the tower for literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, when they make decisions like that, I wonder if there's some sort of technical limitation, but just put her in your head on the radio or whatever. Like, we don't need to go back. It's obviously, I don't know if it's like you would know better than me. Like, is it the producer who should look at that and say, well, let's streamline some of this shit? Or how does that get streamlined? Or is that just something that's like, we don't have time to make that better?
It's probably a time thing, honestly, at that end. It's just, and yes, it would be on the production side of thing. The producer, executive producer would be like, we have time. We only have the X amount of time. We have to cut things and just, you know what? Ikora lives on the tower anyway. You can just talk to her there. It's fine. Like, we don't need to add the model in here and script it all up. But either way, when you're trying to tell a story, it's really shitty. Because I was like, seriously? I came back here for 30 goddamn seconds to just watch a cutscene so I can then go back to Mercury where I was.
And the loading screens are just way longer than that.
Yes.
So
it's way faster on the PC, I must say.
Okay, that's good.
Like, the loading times on the PC, but loading into the tower takes forever all the time. Like, loading into individual planets is pretty quick.
Right.
But the tower is always the longest time to wait. I assume it's finding an instance of it for you and everything. Because there's so many more people there. But either way, just like, oh, guys, you could do small things to improve this so much. But clearly, with what they've been doing with the activities and how Shadow keeps rolling out and this new light thing, I don't think they care about the story all that much anymore. Honestly, I think they care about the lore and having it all connected. But the actual presentation, like, whatever, doesn't matter. This is a game about activities and doing activities and having small bits of lore connect those activities. But beyond that, whatever.
Right,
like just doubling down on that.
If they could excise the dialogue, that whole story piece, and just have the good things, the gunplay, the loot grind, all that kind of stuff connected with the really rich writing of the lore, I think they'd probably be happy about it. But I think it just seems like those kind of games always have that kind of story.
Yeah.
And obviously Activision wanted that. And
yep. I don't know. But that's my big rant on playing it. But I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I'm at light 904 now, which the soft cap is 900. So it takes a lot to get higher than that now.
Right.
I honestly don't even know exactly how you do it. I found just a few items that are item level 904, and I think strikes and like nightfall type stuff, nightfall. Like the harder stuff is how you get up to like 935, right. 950. Because I think the max is 950, 960. But that's if you're rating.
Yeah.
But I don't. But either way, I plan on at least playing through. Even though I hate it, I'm just like, I want to play through the different campaigns, and just at least gives me a very focused way to go through the game. And then just finishing the different quests of like, explore this planet, explore that planet, do these things here. It's pretty. Levels designs are great. Gunplay is great. I love hand cannons so much.
Yeah, those are so fun to shoot.
So good.
Yeah,
I like having a really good one.
A hand cannon and a sniper rifle. For some reason, that's what I like. Get close and then get far away.
There's this. So I have a hand cannon as my primary, my kinetic weapon. Then I have this like sidearm I got pretty early, but then have just been raising it because it has a thing. When I get multi-kills, it generates orbs of light. So I can charge my super.
To your super, yeah.
Quickly. So, and it fires really fast. So it's just this cycle of use that one to charge super, get super charged, then switch to my hand cannon, which just does a ton of damage, use super, and just cycle through all my abilities and my super and stuff, which feels really good. That's where the gunplay and their whole abilities and time for all those work really well. It feels great. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy playing this stuff again.
Right. I know it's free to play now, but you bought the disc that was, what was it, $5 or something like that? Yeah.
I've definitely got my $5 worth.
Yeah, you got return. When I played it, I rented it from fucking Redbox or something like that.
Yeah.
So then buying the $5 disc is
God, that base campaign was so anticlimactic.
It was.
What the
It
fuck?
was against Gaul, right? Was his name
Yeah,
Gaul?
and it was so dumb. I was like, really?
I
That was
kind of
it?
liked the last fight against him a little bit.
The last fight was fine,
Yeah.
but then it just happened.
Yeah.
No, that was how I also was kind of annoyed with that story. Because they'd always cut back to Gaul. And I don't know how much I liked... It never felt that great cutting back to him when he was talking with
with the speaker or whatever.
The speaker. I was just like, that was the whole... It was mostly more of a pacing thing. Of like, okay, I just did this whole thing. Now we're cutting to not me or anyone. And now I'm this other conversation that really is just a person having exposition with a person that's hung up in shackles, basically. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. Sorry to keep ranting on this. I don't know why. It just frustrates me so much.
I mean, if you go back to when I fucking played this campaign, I kind of said the same thing. Like, that whole piece felt like one huge cutscene that they just cut into pieces. But then it was like trying to have some sort of mystery about the speaker, which they never... It's fucking like Lost, where the whole series is moving toward like the smoke monster and all the shit on the island is so creepy and crazy, and then they never explain it. They're trying to make it seem all creepy and shit, but then there's actually nothing there. And that's why I felt like they were doing it with the speaker in that whole piece, and then just Gaul's whole motivation and like where his whole character arc is just like, yeah, you're the bad guy. Okay, this is dumb. This is so archetypal that it's boring.
And then the piece where you're supposed to feel like probably where they're expecting like the person to feel the most emotion at the end there, that the traveler has broken free and given light back to everyone and defeated Gaul itself, was really lame.
Yeah,
I felt like nothing. I was like, really? I'm supposed to feel something here. I know you're wanting me to feel something here, like feel like this great thing. No, nothing. That was boring.
Yep.
Oh, God.
I agree.
God, guys, come on.
Could be so much better. Could
be. I guess that's why it frustrates me, because you see it and you're like, this could be so much better.
Yeah.
It's on the cusp of being better.
I know that people, especially my friend Brad, is going to fucking throttle me for saying this, but I don't really think that Halo has a great story either. So maybe
I think the best part, like I've said, the best part of Halo, story-wise, and this is where it would be controversial, is I actually think Halo, in the actual games, is Halo 2 when you switch to play the Arbiter.
That is controversial.
I just think it was a great switch.
Yeah. No, I thought it was interesting.
Such crazy context into the world and the story, the whole thing.
Right.
And the Arbiter was far more interesting than Master Chief. Master Chief is not an interesting character.
Right.
He's a space marine. Like, he's a stand-in everyday hero. Like, that's what the purpose of that character was, and that's fine, but
then
does not make interesting character.
Right, that's kind of like the way it goes for those beginning games, right? Then they wanted to evolve that, but it was hard to evolve from like a cardboard character, right?
Yeah.
However, I will say that I still the relationship between John and Cortana, Master Chief and Cortana, still lingers with me. I think that's the most interesting part of Halo. That's still being explored, and I really that's something that I'm very interested in. The rest of it, not at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, Cortana was where you got a lot of character in those games. Really. I mean, that was a lot of the character for the games. Like, you just had this AI that was talking to you. And they could put some character there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, controversial. I just like the switch to the Arbiter in 2 a lot. I did not like how 2 just ended with a cut to black because they ran out of money and couldn't finish the game. And they had to... they ran out of money, not money, because they were making plenty of money. They ran out of time for finishing Halo 2, so they had to put that stuff in Halo 3.
Well, I remember getting to the end of the Halo 2 and texting you and Brad and whatever else, be like, wait, did I miss something? Is this the fucking end of this game?
Yep.
Or he's like jumping toward Earth or something like that, right? Is that where that one ends, or is that 3?
No, 3 is where he's jumping it. 2 ends with the invasion of Earth.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It just cuts, but it cuts to black, like hard cut to black, and you're like, wait, the big thing just happened. I'm supposed to do something now, right? And they're like, no, You have to wait till Halo 3 to do that thing. So, but yeah, it was more of a time issue, time and resource issue than it was anything else. There's docs where they talk about that, and they're going like, "Yep, we had to cut." That's just where we were, and that's what we had to ship a game, and just made the choice to cut it right there, not unfinished. So
it makes sense.
But yeah, it's definitely the one. I enjoyed a lot of the story during Halo 2, really. Just like I said, that shift, the war, just trying to understand the universe a bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished 3, and then I was like, I don't want to play any more of these. So I haven't played 4 on. Although I've heard Reach is good too.
Yeah, Brad keeps telling me about how great Reach is, and I still haven't played it yet, but I'd like to.
Which may have more, because one of the things that was interesting in the audio drama and stuff that I really enjoyed in the universe.
Oh my god, it was so good.
The audio drama freaking rules. And then, but it deals with other Spartans.
Right.
And so I feel like Reach dealing with a bunch of Spartans probably has a much better chance of having a good characters and stories and interactions with those characters.
I kind of want to go back and listen to that audio drama. What the fuck is it called?
It's called I Love Bees. Was the ARG that it was tied to. I don't know what the actual audio drama was called.
Well, I'm thinking about the one before Halo 5.
Oh, there was another one?
It was really good, and I'm struggling to remember the name of it, but it had Peel? Key and Peel?
Oh, really?
Michael Key, I think, or was it Peel? No, it was Key, doing the main character in that, the main investigator or whatever, and it was so interesting what they were exploring in that audio drama that just didn't come through in the game.
It's the same thing with the I Love Bees audio drama back in 2004, before Halo 2 came out. It was fantastic, great characters, great story. None of it mattered into the game at all. None of it was carried in. You didn't even know these characters. You're just like, great. And kind of thought it was going to at one point.
Yeah.
Because, they hadn't said it. It was the big ARG, and, we're launching the new game, and you're like, oh, cool, it's going to be like a lead-in to the game. No, not at all.
Right.
So maybe I'm also biased because I like all that stuff a lot more.
Oh, man. For me, I played your game, which I would talk about at the beginning of the show. Looking forward to seeing how that evolves over early access, but so far it's got hooks, which is nice. And honestly, other than that, I haven't played shit this week. I really have been working, and kid goes to sleep at 8. We have like an hour to hang out, and then I'm asleep by like 9:30.
That's crazy.
So this week has been nuts. I'm so tired.
Jeez.
So tired. Help. And then next week I actually start teaching my class on top of all my work. It's like, okay, I can get through this semester. I think I can.
You're when does the semester end?
Well, I'm halfway there, so it's been 8 weeks, so it's 8 more weeks.
Okay, so
9 because of 1 week of vacation from Thanksgiving.
But beginning of December.
Yeah, but
and then you can have some time off.
So feeling good. Yeah, I get some time off eventually. Although having a kid is not a lot of time off.
No, there's never such thing as time off with kids. But
oh man, eventually when they can read for themselves or not wake up at 5 o'clock every morning.
Or if they wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you can say, "It's cool. You can be awake, but we can sleep. It's okay."
Just stop screaming.
That's what our kids are now, or whatever age we did. We're like, it's cool if you wake up before us. Feel free to wake up. Feel free to turn on your little light by your beds. Read a book. Draw. Yeah. Go play with Legos. It's fine.
Yeah, my colleague talks about his kid getting up and then they can wander out and get food and bring it back to the room and read and listen to audiobooks and all this shit. And she's like, oh man, none of that. Right now it's just, I have toys. We have everything. She could do it. No, she wakes up and she's sad that she's alone. So she wants us there. That's where we're at.
She's still in a crib though, right?
She is, yeah.
Yeah. So eventually when that changes, whenever they have a little bit more freedom, and it still takes time after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice when they get old enough and you can be like, no, we're not going to let you starve and not have breakfast. But really, if you wake up at 6 and we normally wake up at 7, just chill for that hour.
Yeah.
There's snacks in the cupboard. There's usually some cut up fruit, apples, something in the fridge. If you need a snack, go for it. It's okay.
Right.
If something's really bothering you, you can come and get us. That's fine. But if not, just chill, play, read.
I'm gonna tell my kid that tomorrow. Just chill.
Yeah, I actually say that a lot to my kids. Just be chill. Be chill. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna work on that.
It takes time.
Yeah. No, of course. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, folks. That was episode 213 of Prof and Dev Play Games. Still here since 2015. Still here in 2019.
Oh my god!
Shit, I started this thing actually in 2015 at like this date, pretty much.
Basically,
so that's fucking crazy. It's like a 4-year anniversary here. We'll be back next week. We'll probably talk about the PlayStation stuff next week. The all the technical specs that came out, and the controller and all that shit. We didn't talk about this week. We know about it. We read about it. We heard about it. But this took precedence. So we will be back with PlayStation 5 officially probably next week. Until then, folks, thanks so much for listening. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. Check us out on Patreon, Prof and Dev Play Games. If you search us there, you'll find us. Got a couple of 2 tiers, $1, $5, the different things for our show. So support us. Thanks for listening, and tell a friend or 5, and we'll see you next week. Oh, and by the way, early access, home of our own, or is it in search of a home of our own?
In search of a home. Good job, dude.
In search of a home.
Good job.
Hey, I played it
in
first time today.
In search of a home on Steam early access.
Thank you. Of our own, ignore that. That's a different game. In search of a home, folks. Check it out. Until next week, we'll see you.
All right. Later.